Thanks as always for tuning in every Wednesday night. This is your place to be. As always, you have tuned in to another fantastic episode, Horns Up, of the Metal Summit. We are your island of misfit toys. We've got Angel Alamo. We've got Psycho Steve. We've got Bobby and Tony this evening, and I'm Jay. We thank you guys, as always, so much for being involved with us and dedicating a little bit of time every Wednesday night to rock out with us so we can sit and talk music, talk fun things, and just talk about what's going on in the world. And speaking of fun things and good things going on in the world, we got a lot that we definitely get to dive into with this man. I mean, musician, producer. The amount of list off that I would have for him would take up the entire episode, but you guys will figure it out as we continue. Mr. Mark Hudson.
Oh, Pashai. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Mark, how are you this evening, man?
And fine, brother. How are you doing? You're looking extremely rock and roll and groovy. That's a good thing.
I always try. I've always got a little bit of flair going on for sure, man. But
isn't that funny? Because you have that rock and roll thing. I know I do. And Bobby looks like a skateboarder.
That he
There's
does.
nothing wrong with
that. Nope. Absolutely, man. He's just got that California just surf skate swag, doesn't he?
So Beach Boy.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, let's talk a little bit about what you've got going on right now. How has 2021 been treating you? What do you have going on? And we're also aware that you have a show next week.
I do. Well, 2020 was a rough year for all of us, and I knew that it would destroy the music industry, and it did. All the places closed down. You couldn't play. You couldn't make records because no one wanted to be in the same room, all that kind of stuff. But got both of my shots, and at that point, I'm thinking that I'm really good to go and ready, and it's starting to open up a little bit now. I was producing Harry Nilsson at the time of his death, and when he died, the family would not let me finish the record. And then last year, I got the phone call that said, do you want to finish the record? And I went, are you kidding me? So I called all of his friends, Jim Keltner on the drums, Van Dyke Parks on accordion, Jimmy Webb on piano, Harry's son playing bass. It was just like, it felt like he was still alive. And the record came out, and I'm so glad that he got to go out like he wanted to. His voice had changed a lot since that, but he came back and it was beautiful. And then I did Joey Mullen's record from Badfinger. And that was beautiful because I ended up getting Steve Hawley from Wings to play drums, Julian Lennon to sing background vocals, with Mickey Dolenz and Adam Schiff from Chicago. And it just was a blast. And I didn't know how that was going to work because Joey is the last member of Badfinger. And it got such great reviews that they're now releasing it on vinyl. And I know in a time when music isn't selling, it was an honor to know that the record was that great reviewed and that it's been selling enough where they decided to do a vinyl version of it. And I'm happy about that. And then as far as playing live, I have these two guys that are friends because, I don't want to go on the road anymore. It's like, I don't have enough hair. I don't stuff my pants like I used to. So I can't do a lot of that stuff. And I called up my friend, Gary Burr, in the Songwriting Hall of Fame in Nashville, and my friend, Marky Mirando from Connecticut. And I said, why don't we do something simple where we don't have to worry about a drummer or a bass player or girls in cages dancing. Let's do a tribute to Crosby, Stills, and Nash, because I knew these guys could sing. And when the three of us sing, we're harmonizing our asses off. And it's 3 acoustic guitars and a keyboard that does organ or piano, depending, and nothing more. So we load it in one Jeep, and we go to play a gig. So we're actually going to be playing in Doylestown. We're going to be staying with Bobby and Tony, and everyone's coming down there, and it's going to be really amazing. Bobby, where am I playing?
You are playing at Central Park in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, off of Wells Road. It's an amphitheater shed. Everybody, it's free. It's opened up. It's built on the side of a hill. You bring your chairs. They do Thompson car dealership in the area is doing a Wednesday concert series every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So it's 7 to whenever.
And what date? I don't want to sound
June
like
23rd. It would be next Wednesday at 7 p.m.
And you guys should show up, because if you want to hear sing, for any of you kids that are old enough to remember Crosby, Stills, and Nash, there was nobody else like them. And we do Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, and the harmonies I would brag about. My guitar playing is still scary, but other areas, the singing is amazing. Their music, everybody knows. And you all better come down or I'm going to choke Bobby. What? I don't know what that means.
But Mark is coming in here, and I asked him to be a lot of people know my mom passed away last year, and her favorite Dolly Parton song was Love is Like a Butterfly. So I asked Mark's band, Laurel Canyon, and we're going to record it here in the studio. And what the hell? It's just going to be fun.
And it's going to be, look, what the thing is? Every song that I've ever written, I wrote for free. The fact that it became a hit or any of that other stuff, I was just lucky. But when you're a songwriter, you write songs because you do. Dolly Parton and I Will Always Love You, she just wrote, whoever would think that Whitney Houston would have done it, and it would have become this ginormous thing. And that's what the key to songwriting is. You got to just keep doing it. And now, if I can be a dad for a second, my daughter, Sarah Hudson, has the #1 song in the country with Dua Lipa, Levitating, my kid wrote. And then before that, she wrote Dark Horse for Katy Perry. I know nothing about that music, but they're all doing her stuff now. I wrote her an email and said, Sarah, please keep writing hits. Pretty soon Dad's going to be in a diaper and I'm going to need a guest house, because she's making more money than I ever dreamed of. She can give me a cottage somewhere, someplace in Bucks County. Why not?
Right. No, 100% for sure. So let's kick it up to Mr. Bobby and Mr. Tony for this next segment.
Well, it is Tony's birthday. And Mark, all the years we've known each other through the rock and roll fantasy camp and everything, Tony has one favorite story, and I know the people on our show would love to hear you.
Oh, God.
You were the band leader for Joan River right after Arsenio Hall. And
no, she was before Arsenio Hall.
What's that? It was
she
right
was
after.
Before Arsenio Hall. Arsenio Hall was after her.
But
just
you
letting
being
you know.
the band leader, I'm going to let you go on this one because I want to hear him snort again.
Are you talking about Mel Carter?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I was the band leader, and Fox was just a brand new network. So they don't really know if it was going to work. Joan Rivers was the first show on Fox ever. Okay. So I was hiring, being the benevolent hippie that I am, I was hiring Vietnam veterans. So whenever there was a loud noise, it all hit the deck. A ex-cocaine addict secretary. It was virtually like a Jerry Lewis telethon, my whole staff. And I was with the band, and in the band, I was the worst musician in the band. Vinnie Colaiuta was the drummer. Jimmy Johnson was the bass player. The list goes on and on and on, from Dave Boroff, Jim Cox. The band was incredible. So one day I'm hearing the band talk in the dressing room, and they go, "It's too bad what happened to Howie Shear." And I didn't know any of these guys. And they went, "What and who is the Howie Shear?" And they went, "Well, he was like Tommy Dorsey's #1 trumpet player. And then he developed Tourette's syndrome." Now, this was like 1985. It was before there was a lot of awareness of that, until Tony's Disability Act that he got through. And I said, "What is Tourette's syndrome?" He goes, "Well, it's the sort of thing where you get like tics and you just swear horrible things without knowing, and you're unaware of it." And I said, "That's bullshit. You're telling me that you just like start to swear uncontrollably?" He goes, "I'm telling you." And he lost his job. And now he's basically living in his car with his trumpet, and he can't get a job because of this disease. And I went, "But he was a #1 trumpet player." He went, "Yeah, but this disease has destroyed him. And I went, call him in. I'll have him write charts for the band. He can make roughly $2,500 to $3,000 a week just for writing charts for the 24-piece orchestra. And they said, wow, that'll really be great. And I'm being benevolent because I was the head of the department, and why not pass it around? So one day I'm there and I see Howie walking down the hall towards my office, and he had real high pants. Like his pants were, he had to zip down the zipper to blow his nose. His pants were like way up there with his hair parted, walking with short steps. And the secretary, the cocaine addict, went, Mark, Howie Shear's here. And he walks in, and I go, hi, Howie. Nice to meet you. Now, Bobby, can I say anything on this show and not be in trouble?
Say anything. We have no filter.
Okay. So he walks in and goes, hi, Mark. It's very nice to meet you, ball fucker. Excuse me? Good. It's really nice to meet you, uterus strip. And I'm looking at him like, oh my God, what's the matter with this guy? He goes, don't worry about it, penis breath. And he's like calling me names and swearing. I'm going, this is really, really weird. I said, Howie, if you want to write some charts, you can make $2,500 at least a week. Oh gosh, that would be great, anal sex. It'll be so much fun. And I can't believe this is happening. I thought it was like an act. But he really did have Tourette's syndrome. Okay. So he starts writing charts for the band. He's making a living. And whenever he's around girls and stuff, he kind of calmed down a little bit. But then he'd get so excited that he would start to swear again. Way to go, sperm mouth. All of a sudden, one day, Nell Carter, if you remember her, for you kids, she was on, what was the show?
Give Me a Break.
No, was it One Day at a was it One Day at a Time?
No.
Or Give Me a Break? It was Nell Carter, and she was and she was a Broadway star that did Ain't Misbehavin' and renowned. But according to the world, she was very, very difficult to work with. So I'm there with the band, and I said, all right, guys, Nell Carter is showing up. Really be on your money because she's doing something from the Broadway hit, Ain't Misbehavin', and we can't screw it up. Around the corner comes Nell Carter. And if you've ever seen like a cartoon, like when a bull runs, they don't run like this, like, and here comes Nell Carter, real big and round, up to me with her charts, slams them down and goes, here are my charts, don't fuck it up. And she walked away. And I'm going, God, this is going to be weird. So we go through the rehearsal. I ain't misbehaving. And as soon as she started singing, she was a giant. She was incredible. She knew how to sell it. She could sing her ass off. The band was playing, like with the toilet plungers on the trombones. It was great. And she goes, great. Just make sure you do it that way tonight. She runs away. So, night of the show, we're all putting on the tuxedos. Joan's husband comes down, who didn't like me and would always threaten me. If I didn't do what he wanted, he was going to replace me with Chuck Mangione. Mark, play more Cole Porter. And if you don't, you'll be replaced by Chuck Mangione. Wow. Nell Carter's my new best friend. Walks down. So I'm doing roll call for the band. Vinny Caluta, yo, Marky, Jimmy, yo, they're all saying yo. And I get to Rick Baptiste, who was my number one trumpet player. And I went, Rick Baptiste. Nothing. Rick. And I went, oh my God, where's Rick Baptiste? He goes, didn't you get his phone call? I went, no, he's in Vegas. I went, are you kidding me? And he can't get here. He wanted you to get him a sub. I said, he never said it to me. All of a sudden, walking down the hall with a bunch of charts, I see Howie Shear. Whoa, Mark cocksucker. Yeah, you do a strip. And I go, Howie, you have your trumpet? Oh, I always have my trumpet ball snapper. And I said, get him a tuxedo. And the whole band went, no, Mark, please, no. I said, get him a fucking tuxedo. He's going on. I said, Howie, you're going on. Oh, that will be so great. Fuck you. Yeah, we. Okay. Puts on a tuxedo, and we do the show. Now, as we're doing the show, He's playing trumpet and doing it great, but now and then he goes. He's swearing, but it just sounded like. So Joan goes, and now Edgar's new best friend, Nell Carter. And I kicked the band up. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, dum, 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 boom. And they're playing. Dum, dum, dum. And she comes out and she's in this bright yellow satin dress with a yellow bow. And she was a large woman with a yellow bow. She looks at me and points, and I'm vamping. Doom, 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 doom. And she goes, I must be heaven. And she starts singing, and it's incredible. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I've dodged a bullet. I'm going to get out of this in one piece. And it gets to the crescendo of the song. Ain't misbehaving, doodle doo doo doodle doo doo doo. Ain't misbehaving, doodle doo doo doodle doo doo. And when it stops, Howie yelled, "Whoa, taxi!" He called her a fucking cab. And I went, oh, like this. And the whole audience went, oh, like that. I called her. He said, whoa, taxi. Went to commercial. Bodyguards came and grabbed Howie and took him out like, no, it was an accident. Whoa, motherfucker. Walked him out. They sent me to see Barry Diller, who almost threw me off the show for 3 months. But I kind of became like a Robin Hood for this disease. And someone called me up and said, Mark, and they named the guy who I don't remember, from the Tourette's Foundation, would like to come and thank you for what you did because it made the news or whatever. And in my office, he comes and sits down, and he was kind of in control. I don't really know the medication that you take for that disease, but he was kind of in control. And he goes, Mark, I want to thank you on behalf of the foundation for everything that you've done for Tourette's syndrome. And I went, listen, I wanted to get the guy a job. I didn't know he was going to call Nell Carter a cab. I think it almost got me fired, and it was scary. And the guy went, but I just want to thank you. And he spit on my desk. And I kind of looked down, I looked up at him, and he went, sometimes that happens. And he started blowing hawkers on my desk. And I figured the best thing I could do is just leave it alone. It was his disease. So I said, Wanda, go get a towel. Came up, we took pictures, and I kind of became the poster child for Tourette's syndrome, that I didn't even know what the disease was, but I found out the hard way. And now, hopefully, everybody is aware of that disease. And it's really nothing to laugh about. I mean, it's funny in rock and roll when they start, he said some words that I can't figure out. Uterus dripper. I don't even know what that is. But he would say stuff that was scary. But you know what? The fact that I cared enough to give him a job, I don't know. Maybe I'll make it to purgatory for that. Probably not heaven, but purgatory, at least.
You're getting a little closer for sure.
There you go,
and
Jay.
at least a little bit for that alone. And he was a great trumpet player and a great guy. And I just, the only thing is he waited for the whole. And then when the band whole stopped is when he went, whoa, taxi. And she looked like a cab. It was just, thank God I was wearing brown pants, because it was just not right. It just wasn't right. But
just not.
I got a million of them,
Absolutely, 100%. Angel, let's kick it over to you for this next segment, brother. How are you doing today, and how are the Metal Summoners doing?
I am super fucking awesome. F-I-N-E Vine. Got questions from the fans, of course. I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I have a question from Tommy Rice, a singer from Without Reason. And yeah, it's a really good question. He wants to know, what do you think new bands have to do to have longevity in the music business?
Well, if you're asking me, Phil Ramone, like the famous Phil Ramone, was my teacher. And he said there's only 3 things that you got to know. Song first, singer second, and band third. And that's not to downsize the band, because a great band is a great band, from Zeppelin to you name it,
right,
to Killers.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to write your own material. If you don't write your own material, nothing's going to happen. So that's the first thing. Start to write great songs. And also, don't, with everybody wanting to be terminally hip, no one wants to admit that the song is everything. But anybody who's ever released a song, and I don't care whether it's Metallica or you name whatever band you want it to be, the song they release as a single is the most popular song that they have on the record. Don't be afraid of pop. I don't mean like Justin Bieber pop. I'm just talking about something commercial so that people, in fact, what was the song that, want to take you higher, and then I'm going to fly higher. I don't even know that.
Yeah.
We Are Young.
We Are Young.
Fun, yeah. And
Fun.
the thing is, I didn't have a clue what he was singing in the verse. I didn't know the words. But as soon as he went, I want to go higher, you watched everybody in the audience. They all got up with their phones, and that's the key to it. I was out with Aerosmith once, and Steven Tyler forgot the words to Walk This Way. So he sang his grocery list. I need some potatoes. I'm done. And broccoli's on my mind. But they didn't know. But when he got to Walk This Way, done. Over with. Done. Got a whole lot of love. Just think about it. And I don't even know your Gangnam Style, that fat fucking Korean. I don't know what he was singing, but you know what? God bless him. Good for him. He wrote a hit. Good. And those other guys that look like they're a little bit light in the Nikes, the Korean kids, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? Good for them.
BTK or whoever.
Yeah, just write a good song and you've got a chance. That's the first thing. Look, getting signed now is difficult because I'm a producer and I'm always looking for new talent. In case you kids want to send me stuff, I'm always ready to listen to it. The unfortunate thing is now they want to know how many hits you have on Instagram, how many things you have in this. You got 9 million likes on Facebook. What? Have they ever played a club? No, but they're liked on Facebook. And that gets them signed. And that's not right. You got to be good. You got to rehearse and be good. Carmine Appice, drummer, famous drummer from Vanilla Fudge, Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
He's got a new band called the Kodiaks, I think. And they're young kids with too much hair. And they've got everything, the energy, the playing, and the one thing that they don't have is a song. And Carmine said to me, I got to tell them to write a good song. And that's the key to it. Once they get a good song with as cute as they are and as good as they are, something will happen. But if you don't have it in the song, it ain't going to happen. Sure. Write a good song, first thing. And don't, try not to argue. Most bands end up hating each other anyway. Try to stay through till you all buy a home and then hate each other. It sounds so easy, doesn't it?
Right.
It's like you can get separate tour buses.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the other thing is this. It's like a lot of people aren't going to like what you do. And I use my daughter, who I just was talking about. She worked for 8 years. And then all of a sudden, they all did her stuff and they thought it was overnight. But it was 8 years of her not taking no for an answer. Just, you got to keep going and believe in what you're doing. If you believe in it, all you need is one Mama Luke. Somebody going like, what? I think these kids are good. And then you got a shot.
Yeah.
Just don't stop. Don't give up. I'm like Willy Wonka. Don't give up.
For sure.
That's simple.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Just takes an idea and persistence.
That's all you can do. Don't quit.
Yeah.
And hopefully someone will get it. I can name you so many people that did other things before they were famous. Tori Amos was in a punk band before she became the sensitive songwriter at the piano. You just keep doing it. But doing a shotgun doesn't work either. Because a lot of times what ends up happening is people go, well, I guess I'll do country. Well, you think just because you're going to do country, it's going to work? No. You got to be good at doing country.
Yeah.
Don't just take a shotgun and shoot it in the air. Something might fall out of a tree. But it's more than that. It's got to be something that you really live and die for. That's it. That's simple.
Right on.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
No,
And
good question,
he
Tom.
appreciates it because he himself is a singer-songwriter. So we appreciate giving the younger bands advice.
Oh God, they have to make it be about the song. Make it be about the song first.
Yep. So Tommy Rice, you heard that Let It Be About Your Song. I saw you perform live. You kicked ass. So let it be about the song.
Great.
Now let me get to Candy Burton, who also has a good question.
Great.
Who were some of your favorite musicians to work with?
Oh well, that's an easy thing. My favorite singer
right there, Mark, who is you worked with, and we talked about it before you went on air, of how your relationship, how you started working with a Beatle.
Yeah, well, that I have so many. My favorite singer, Steven Tyler, like no question about it. He can sing in the key of M. He can do all of his harmonies and then harmonize that. Nobody sings like Steven Tyler. Okay, now right next door to that, I worked with Ozzy Osbourne, and I have never heard someone double track as good as Ozzy Osbourne. Mark in Black Sabbath, and I had to invent myself, and so I decided to double it, and he was saying double it. So he can't sing an entire song all at once in the studio. He can only do one line at a time, but then he goes right back and doubles it. The spiders in the dungeon love me. Double it. And then he does it again, and it's exactly the same. I had dinner with the devil. Double it. Boom. And there is Ozzy Osbourne. No vibrato, double tracks everything, and it's brilliant. Steven Tyler is a whole nother beast. Ringo is like the postman. In the town, not a lot of range, but he has that thing where anybody can sing like him, so they do. And by the way, I've worked with every drummer from Steve Gadd, Vinnie Colaiuta, for you musician kids, Greg Bissonette, the list goes on forever. I've never heard a drummer play a song like Ringo Starr can play a song. He knows what not to do. He knows to stay out of the way. He doesn't compete with the vocal. He goes, I'll just wait for them to shut up when I do a drum fill. That's smart. And that's that one. Guitar player wise, there's been a truckload of them. And that's from Joe Perry, Steve Vai, so many guys. And it's tough to pick a favorite of anything that you're doing, because with music, there's too many things to love. And that's whether I love heavy metal, I love pop, I love country, and it's just, there's so much to love. I can't pick one thing. Obviously, working with a Beatle was weird. And the way that happened was I had met Ringo before, but had no thoughts of working with him. And then he heard a song that I wrote called The Artist. And he went, oh, it kind of sounds like John. Like John Lennon was my reason for existing. And he goes, hey, it kind of sounds like something John would write. I'd like to write with that guy. And then I got the phone call, and he came down to my studio, played the drums. We wrote a song. He liked the vibe. And I was saying to Bobby earlier, he was the first guy in my life that stood up for me. He goes, well, when we make the record, it'll be fun. And I thought, yeah, when you make the record with George Martin or whomever. And he goes, no, it's going to be you. If you're not producing it, I'm not doing the record. And he was the first guy that said that to me. And that started me on an 8-album journey producing Ringo Starr albums. I know. And you know what? He was in a band, and it was so weird because I'm sort of a multi-instrumentalist and not really great in any of them, but good enough to get by. And on the Ringo records, I played a lot of bass. And all of a sudden I would hear this drum beat, and I would turn around, and 4 feet away from me is Ringo playing the drums. And I thought, oh my God, this can't be right. And I said, I know every drum fill you've ever played. Oh, no, you don't. and he did some fill, and I went, oh, that's the opening to Glass Onion, you busted. And then he did another, don't even do Get Back, you busted. And I busted him because I knew every one of, I was a drummer, and I learned to play drums because of Ringo Starr. And that was such an honor for me. But even Hanson, before their balls dropped, I worked with them. And guess what? You can say, Pop, those kids are talented. They can sing and harmonize like you don't even know. They play all their own instruments. It's unfortunate they got caught in that pop scene because usually that's like a 3-year deal, and then you're frisbeed to become a barista at Starbucks. But they held on to their audience, and those kids are incredible. But songwriting wise, I've written for Celine Dion, Alice Cooper, the list goes on, Paul Carrick. When you write a song, if the song is good enough, someone will do it. And it's not our job to say who will do it. You can just hope.
Hey, Mark, can I interject real quick? So,
please.
My favorite part is, we'll get into your songwriting, is somebody told you very personal about a certain lower extremity of their body, but you talked to Mr. Tyler about it, and it wound up on an album. If you can elaborate about that.
Oh, God. Well, Bobby, you're making me remember stuff that I don't want to remember. So on the album Just Push Play that I produced for Aerosmith, the song Just Push Play, I wrote with Steven. And we're sitting there, and it was sort of this aggressive, down, 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 down. And he was doing all of his, but I've never seen a mouth that big in my life. There's a family having lunch on his tongue. So he goes, what's that name you and your brothers used to call Cher? Because on TV, we replaced the Sonny and Cher show. And my brothers and I had a term for her that was called Kuha, which was just sort of a reference to her lower region.
Well, Angel, let me keep the segment with you, brother. Do we have another question from any of the fans?
Yes, we do have more fan questions. This one comes from Curtis Short. He wants to know, again, speaking of Ringo Starr, how was it playing with Ringo Starr and the All-Star Band?
The interesting thing about that is that Ringo has been in a band like all of his life. And all he ever wanted to do was be in a band. So when you think about the All-Star bands, he doesn't really care what songs he's playing on. He just wants to play. And I'm thinking, well, oh my God, he's a Beatle. I mean, if anyone should be jaded, or I don't want to do that, I'll be in my trailer, would be a Beatle. He doesn't care. I want to play with all these people. Now, all of these guys had other hits in their own world, and Ringo actually felt that it was an honor for him to play with them. But all we wanted to do was to do Photograph or Little Help from My Friends, because we were in heaven. We were in heaven because of that. But he said, I'm a drummer. I'm supposed to drum. I don't even know how old he is now, 80 something, and he's still loving to drum. And all of those guys, even though they had their own hits, that was fun too. And one of my favorites was the Men at Work. He was like, he could sing his ass off. Colin Hayes. He was so much fun and so right on. It was just great. And you know what? You try to stay away from, if anyone's troublesome, just get out of their way. Like, Ringo never caused. It was funny because there was one time when the monitors went out, and I think it was a guy from the Guess Who and Todd Rundgren and all these guys, and they ran back to the dressing room. Ringo, the monitors are out. We can't go on. And Ringo looked at him and said, have you heard the Shea Stadium tapes? And they went, yeah. He goes, there was nothing. There were no monitors. It was 4 amplifiers and their guitars And if you hear the recording of that, they sounded amazing. And that was before we were doing all the fixes. It was no Pro Tools and Auto Tune. That's what they sounded like. And he goes, come on, we're going on. And everybody was frightened. But you know what? Once they got there, because the Beatles said, it's okay, just play. It was fantastic. Like, those are very fond memories, man.
Right on.
I have another question from Brian Reisfelder. He wants to know, what bands did you see when they were nobodies that you knew they would become stars instantly?
Interesting. That's an interesting question.
I like that.
Me too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's actually a good question, because so many times you see people. I saw Tori Amos before she was a star. Hootie and the Blowfish I saw in a club.
Wow.
Black Keys. I saw these people and I went, you know what? These guys are kicking some ass. And I didn't understand what Hootie and the Blowfish even meant, but they had what Steven Tyler calls it. It's a persona as much as it is great music. Their presence on stage is also that good, no matter what. And there's so many people that you have seen and you can see that are going to be fantastic. The industry has changed so drastically. It's a bit more difficult, but I think that it still can work. It still can work. Just don't give up. But all of those guys kicked ass. Like the Black Keys, I love to this day. The Strokes, another good band. I'm not so. It's a funny thing because I know Dave Grohl, but he was in Nirvana, so it's tough to say I saw Foo Fighters and thought they're going to be a hit, because it was already successful, so it made it a little bit easier,
Sure.
But you can usually see it and feel it, no matter what. It's always there.
That's true. I mean, if you're into like documentaries and stuff like that, Mark, like the Foo Fighters documentary, I think it's called like Back and Forth, is really, really good if you've never seen it. But it talks about those really, really early Foo Fighter days where Dave Grohl just made up a band name to put on a cassette with this band he put together because he didn't want to go out as, the guy from Nirvana. And
right.
Played like these little clubs, but people still recognized him. So they were always calling out the name, I forget the name off the top
Teen
of my head.
Spirit.
It's not that, but there was a song he wrote in Nirvana called like Madeline or Matilda or something like that a lot of people in the crowd would still shout out because they knew that he was a co-writer on that particular Nirvana song.
Isn't that funny? You see, it doesn't go away.
Right.
There was an Ozzy Osbourne story when they first did the first Black Sabbath album that he told me they came to America and they were going to play someplace, and they walked out. And they were starting down the Mr. Crowley, whatever, and the crowd was completely Afro-American, black, and they finished the song, no clapping, and one guy shouted, "I thought you was Black Sabbath," because the audience thought that they were like Parliament or like Earth, Wind and Fire, but it was fucking Black Sabbath doing their heavy metal shit. And Ozzy goes, I said, well, did they boo you? No. They ended up liking it, but they didn't dance. Okay, well, not that Black Sabbath is a dance group, but they always keep shouting stuff, like no matter what. And Foo Fighters are great. They're one of my favorites. And I also think, Bruno Mars is really tiny. Like, he looks like an aerial picture of a human. He might be like 5'2" or something. And when he finally found himself, because it took a while, I think he's incredible. I think he's underrated. And I think he's really fantastic. Even when he did his early stuff that didn't sound like Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
But when he found the it, he stayed there. And that's important.
Nice. There's a couple of bands that I feel I've gotten to see on like the Uprise. There's this song I really like right now called The Struts. You know,
Oh yeah,
I've seen them in like smaller kind of club gigs up to like some bigger, more amphitheaters. And there's a band that I've always really liked called 3 Days Grace that I
yeah.
saw 20 years ago, like in a small little Boston club before they had really broken anything. Like I Hate Everything About You had started getting rotation on MTV, but like
Right.
the bubble hadn't popped for them yet. And then they're playing like arenas, you know, a couple of albums later. But it was really cool seeing them in a club with like, you know, 40, 50 other people in like such small little venue. And then, you know, buying a DVD for them a few years later where it's recording a live, you know,
Sure.
like
Well, you know, the other thing is, it's sort of like
hockey
when
arena.
you look at women in rock. Lita Ford is a friend of mine from the early days, and kicks ass. But there's a few of them out there now, like Madison Hatter from Jersey, kicks ass. Madame Mayhem kicks ass in a heavier way.
She's
And
so good.
she's great. I produced her first record,
Nice.
so she's like great. And they're both. I think they're kind of bubbling now. And I don't know whether the world is ready to accept that, but they should, because these people kick some ass. They're that great.
For sure.
I mean, I love music, so it's tough to ask me questions because there's not much I don't like.
No, Brian just kind of wanted to know what's your perspective on the rock group Tool.
I don't know too much about them. The stuff that I've heard, I've liked. But the thing, remember, I'm an album guy. And I think that music has sort of changed itself, where I would like to be able to take Tool and do not a concept album, but an album that has a consistency to it. I mean, if I were to give one critique, I wish there would be a consistency to Tool, because they kick ass. It's just a matter of kicking ass for an hour, and nowadays albums have fallen by the wayside, and I refuse to let that go.
Yeah,
It's always
I
about,
don't blame you.
All right.
And then Angel, did you say you
Hey,
wanted
Tony's
to
gotta jump.
call off Kim's?
Oh, Tony wants to jump in real quick.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to say something about Mark. I've been in the business, something like 40 some years. Mark is a person that you may not pick up on. He has a heart of gold. He's a very sensitive guy. He tries to pretend he's not, but he's one hell of a guy. And Melissa, his wife, is tremendous. But Mark is somebody, all of you know that I'm into politics, and in politics you meet a lot of different people, some strange people, whatever, but you get a sense of who that person is. And Mark has that, and I love him. So I just want to say thank you. And
thank you, Tony. I love you right back. In fact, there was one time we were at dinner together, and Tony was sitting next to me, and it was a musician, David Johansen from the New York Dolls, and John Weisswasser, a drummer from an Eagles band. And John Weisswasser thinks he's a cook, and he's got this blowtorch, and he would blowtorch a salmon. But to me, I'm Italian. I can't eat anything I would use for bait. Like, if you're going to cook a meal, it's got to be cooked. He did a quick blowtorch and put this piece of salmon that was still swimming on my plate. I look over at my wife, and she looks at me and goes like, "Don't you even think about it." I couldn't resist, and I went, "Wow, is that a deer outside?" Everyone turned, and I flipped my salmon on Tony's plate. Tony looked at me with the eyes of love, ate my salmon, and never busted me. So I owe him for that alone.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Sure. Thank you so much, Tony. Absolutely.
Thanks, Tom.
For sure, man.
Jay, back to you on this.
No, that's gotta be like super duper cool, I mean, it's always really rad, like kind of getting that perspective, especially with like stuff like history. I mean, Bobby, you were the one who set up this interview, and having Mark on, but then also being able to have like Tony sit in for a little while and bring in his perspectives and the things that he's been involved with is very, very cool, man.
Well,
That's
Mark,
so
I
great.
just want to give you a little bit of background of this whole thing of the Metal Summit. This started the day, we started the Wednesday after my mom passed away, and the pandemic just didn't even break. So we were four guys and just wanted to do something just to have fun. So, Mark, I got to tell you, you're our 69th guest tonight.
How perfect.
I mean,
How perfect.
if you're going to be on a show, it's 69 or it's 68, and I'll do, whatever.
69.
I'm a walking helmet wash.
But, Mark, look, you bitch slapped me so much in 13 years.
I did.
You made me cry on the stage in Boston.
I know.
Freeman King's Act.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? It's not about it. Like when Tony said that I try to act tough, but I have a heart of gold. I might act tough because I do have a heart of gold. I want people to be successful. I don't care how. I don't care when. I believe that everybody's got a shot. And sometimes you need to be bitch slapped to get there. Bobby needed it. I choked him more times. I'm surprised I didn't kill him. But finally, when it sunk in.
Anybody ever seen the movie Whiplash? We've all been there. Me, John Weisswasser, Jeff Matthews.
Yeah. I don't think
I'm out of love.
I don't think I'm that bad, but I can be tough. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you hear the work that we've done, if it's really, really great, that's all that matters. And I say that to all you guys that are in bands, all you guys that are songwriters. At the end of the day, when you finally do it, like when my daughter Sarah wrote to me, was it 3 days ago, and said, we just went #1 with Levitating. You don't get a better feeling than that. Nothing is better.
Mark, what was your first #1 hit before we go and break and everything else? But what was that first #1 hit you had?
Well, I mean, I wrote the first song. I wrote a song with Cher, when she did Take Me Home. You kids weren't born yet. But that became #1. Obviously, Living on the Edge was #1 for a long, long, long time.
What about Umba?
Well, that too. I mean, they're all, listen, you know what? A #1 is basically meaningless. It's just nice to get there. Because if you're a true artist, as soon as you get #1, the first thing we all think is, oh shit, how am I going to do this again? And all the insecurity starts to hit you. And you go, oh God, now I got to match that. Now I got to be better than that other one. And that's a lot of pressure. Hence, that's why a lot of drugs, all that stuff enters in, because we're basically scared. And when you write a good song, sometimes you don't know. Look, I'm friends with Desmond Child. I think he did your show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like massive hits. But we'll sit down together and he goes, I'm so scared. I got to write another one. And you're always worried about chasing it, about finding it and doing it again. And you know what? You can't do that. You just got to get over your own crap. Have fun. Write a great song. And he's one of the greatest songwriters I've ever known, by the way. Desmond Child is he's the real deal. And
well, he loved you, and he laughed. He goes, and he goes, oh, Mark.
Oh, I know. Well, listen, I mean, when we were writing, Hanson was going to do a Christmas album when they were really popular, right after the Umba. And they called Desmond, and Desmond said, let's write a song together. Came to my studio, and he's, he really knows what he's doing and really knows what he wants. He goes, all right, we're writing the song. We're going to call it Alien Christmas. And I went, you mean like Mexicans crossing the border? No. You think we're the only planet? And I went, oh, Desmond, you mean like aliens in Mars? Yes. And I thought to myself, this is never going to work. Because the Hanson boys, quite religious, they're thinking about baby Jesus, not baby Zarkon. So we wrote the song, and I still have it somewhere. And every time Desmond and I are together, we always bring it up for a laugh. But writing songs is free. It'll be one day we spent together that didn't work. And then the next time you do something that works completely. So you just get lucky. That's all. It's talent too, but a lot of luck.
For sure. Oh, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, no question about it, man. No question.
For sure. Well, since we touched on it, Mark, I'm gonna bring the segment over to Psycho Steve right after this. But since you touched on it, and it's a question I'm sure a lot of people want to hear the answer to, what is the history of the beard?
Oh, well, this is what it came down to. Before I was into music, I was an art student. My scholarship in school was as a painter. And I've always loved color, but I've always worried about fitting in. So I would go out of my way to dress the way that I want to dress. And I don't have a tattoo like you. You got such great tats. And my daughter has become a walking tattoo, and I don't have one. So one day I thought, wow, you know what? Why don't you do it on your beard? And I didn't know how or what. Give me some bleach. And because I was an art student, I'm pretty wicked with a brush. Color would always be dominated by what society thought you were. If I wore a pink shirt, they would think I was a fruit. If I wore an orange shirt, I should be picking up garbage on the side of the road like a prisoner. And I went, who made that up? Who made that up? So I figured, you know what? I'm going to tattoo my face. And I did my beard, and nobody, I've been doing it for like 16 years now or so. Nobody's ever hated it. No one. People have laughed. Little kids walk by, Mom, look, a pirate. And they'll pass me up. Nobody. Rich women on the Upper East Side, oh, what a lovely beard you have with the colors. And for some reason, it's a chick magnet with black women.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, man, rainbow motherfucker. Give me a piece of that rainbow. Yeah, rainbow
Angel,
man.
you need to have one now.
The what?
I told Angel he needs to have a colored beard now.
Go get it, man. It works. It works.
Or for guys, it would be a taint tickler.
I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not sure I want to know.
Well, on that note, let's bring in our own fabulous beard. Psycho Steve.
Well, it's an honor to meet you, Mr. Hudson. Thank you for
And
joining
you
us.
too, Psycho Steve.
I appreciate that. So, the question I have is, we just talked about it, about like you don't know if it's going to be a hit, but when you write a song, do you start with the music part or the lyrics first?
There really isn't a syndrome that's one way or the other.
Okay.
Sometimes the music comes first. Like Living on the Edge, the word living on the edge is what hit me. And that's where that came from. A lot of times, especially when you're writing songs with people that are an artist, you fake the lyric. You're just kind of like doing a melody with pretend words that gets you there. And that's the way that works. It's sort of like, I wrote a song with Timothy B. Schmidt from the Eagles. And it was I still think to this day that it's a smash. And
Which was this?
it never got recorded yet.
Oh,
It's called I'll Be Seeing You Around. And it is just like amazing. And Joe Walsh is playing lead guitar. The other drummer in the Eagles, Scotty Crago, is playing drums. And Timothy B. Schmidt playing bass and singing. And it's a smash. And so I said to Timothy, I can't, because you got to run it by Henley, because it's Henley's band. Timothy takes it away. And I'm thinking, Babe Ruth, it's out of the park. It's a smash. All of a sudden, Timothy calls me. He goes, hi, Mark, it's Timothy. Timothy, did you play it? Did you play it for Henley? Yeah. And he said, no. I went, what? Did he hear the chorus? And he went, he heard half the chorus. And then they said, no, it's not right. And it got rejected. I was devastated. I still am devastated. And I've changed the title to Don Henley, You Bastard. But one of these days, someone's going to cut that song and it's going to be a smash. And it's sort of like, it's hard to keep your eyes down in this little town. It's sad but true. I'll be seeing you around. Like when you break up with a girl and you're from this small place, you're going to run into her again. And he sang a great, it is such a hit record. It haunts me till this day. And then when I wrote Where's the Love for Hanson, as soon as Where's the Love? As soon as I did the chorus, I went smash. It became the second single after Bop, and I was right on. And the Celine Dion song we wrote, if you listen to the lyric, to the reason, it's a Steven Tyler. I figured it out. I was high and low and everything in between. I was wicked and wild, baby, you know what I mean? Then there was, I made a deal with the devil for an empty IOU. It's Steven Tyler-isms. Rejection. She did it. Became a smash. But I knew that was a hit when I wrote it. You never really know who it's going to be for. And it's always good when you get a chance to work with a band or an act. It's like the Joey Mullen record from Badfinger. I got to write all the songs. If you get a chance to, it's called...
it just came out last year. You did it. Yeah,
and as a songwriter, if you hear that record, you will love the songs on it. Oh, in fact, they're releasing it on vinyl, and they just gave me a copy. Be True to Yourself. Nice. Photographed by Julian Lennon, Steve Hawley on drums, and the songs on it are great. Songs aren't selling anymore, so who knows? And when you're an old guy in the cocktail hours of your life, even then, you don't know if it's going to sell. But that shouldn't stop you from writing a hit or trying to write a hit.
Mark, one word. Joni.
Oh, let's not go down that street.
To piggyback off that question, I just have another question in regards to as far as because you have such a cornucopia of artists that you've worked with, from rock to pop to metal,
right.
R&B. Do you have a favorite song that you wrote?
Wow. Interesting question, man. You kind of threw me on that one.
Cool.
You know what? I think my song, The Artist, it's actually on my solo album. And that's the song that helped Ringo want to write with me. That song was more about me than anything I've written. So it's never been a hit. It's only been recorded by me. And if the answer is written in the sky, I need the truth and not a fucking lie. If you're okay, don't worry. I'll get by. I just need someone to love me. I just gave myself the chills saying that. Or I have gas. I don't know which one. But I look at it and I love that song.
And it's off your solo album?
It's on my solo album called The Artist.
Okay.
If you get a chance.
I'm ordering it now.
There's some songs on that will... I did, Get Me to the Farm, which I did for Aerosmith, but I did a version of it. A Hudson brother hit, a top 20 song called So You Are a Star, that when the reviews came out, they said it was so Beatley, and Ringo's playing drums on it. So it kind of became full circle.
What's this album?
Ba Fa. Wow. You got quite the collection there, Bobby. Anyway, The Artist was, that song to me is maybe my favorite song that I've ever written. Whether it ever gets done or whatever, I don't have a clue, but I don't really care because it really touches my heart.
Oh, for sure. That's super duper awesome, for sure. So, Mark, we're just going to take a quick little break right quick because we always extend our appreciation to some of our partners and some of the endorsers that allow us to put on such a super duper cool show that you are getting to be a part of with us again. So thank you so much. And
you're very welcome.
Fans watching us again, we've been enjoying the last little hour plus so far with Mark Hudson. We've got him for a little bit longer, but we always want to take a second to thank Bradley Entertainment, BLE, just made a massive announcement about their Halloween weekend festival. 24 bands, 3 days, headlined by the likes of Bisto Blanco, which is Chuck Garrick and Calico Cooper from Alice Cooper, Tora Tora, Roxy Blue, Last in Line with Vivian Campbell and Vinny Appice from Dio.
Yeah, Vinny.
Pretty Boy Floyd, and all kinds of just fantastic bands on that. So they just released the bands for that festival with ticket info coming soon. So Brad, Angie, Dawn, thank you guys all so much. You know how much the Metal Summit loves you. We definitely want to thank Saren Cadaver from Twisted Vines Horror Decor. A little bit of personal love to her from us. She's going through a little bit of a health situation right now. She does have a GoFundMe up on her page right now. So if you just look her up, Saren Cadaver, she could use a little bit of help if anybody's able to give. So we appreciate that for the Metal Summers. But Saren, we love you. We're always here for you, girl. And we appreciate you very much being a part of the show. Thank you so much to Mark and Janet from Rock and Horror Apparel. They do some of the clothes for some of the members of the Metal Summit. Fantastic, everything from T-shirts, bathing suits, jeans, shorts, vests. They pretty much put their stamp on everything involved in rock and metal and horror type things. So they're absolutely fantastic as well. We always want to thank David Rosenfeld from Think Brain. There we go. njsmile.com, Rosenfeld and Associates. Exactly. Shut up, Steve. So thank you so much, brother, for always being involved with us as well, keeping all those pearly whites in Psycho Steve's mouth and hooking up everybody as well. And, of course, we also want to thank John and Bubby's Beanery for being involved with us as well. Bubby'sBeanery.com, coffee shop out of Toms River, New Jersey. So everybody stay put, hang tight. We're going to take a minute or so quick break, run a little bit commercial, and make sure that we're all still wheeling and dealing and running and gunning. And we will be right back in a little bit with more of Mark Hudson on the Metal Summit.
You feel better. Have a great day.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Thank you all so much for sticking with us and rocking out. And thank you again to our sponsors and all the people that allow us to bring the Metal Summit right to you guys each and every week. Again, we are sitting with Mr. Mark Hudson, musician, producer extraordinaire, television personality. And we're actually going to kick it real quick up to our beloved Killer Queen, Bobby Dreyer, to talk a little bit about Mark's upcoming show.
Okay, next Wednesday, 7 to blah, blah, whatever, Doylestown, Pennsylvania, the Central Park Kids Castle area on Wells Road in Doylestown. Free concert Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mark Hudson with Gary Burr and
Mark Miranda.
Laurel Canyon doing the music of Crosby, Stills and Nash, and amazing. It's just going to be such a great night, and I will be dragging Mark around Doylestown all over the place.
I'm sure. And I'm good in drag too.
Yeah, hey, so am I. And you might see this little guy there, but
it's the thing is, we actually do the whole history of Crosby, Stills and Nash, because the bands they were in before, the Hollies, Buffalo Springfield, Crazy Horse. So all of that thing, we do their early stuff, and then we do it when they did the Fantastic album and then added Neil Young. We do all of that stuff. We do Ohio.
I just heard a really interesting story on the documentary from the whole area of Laurel Canyon. When the photographer shot the album cover, when they did it on the couch, they were in the wrong order.
Yeah.
They were, it's like, no, it's not Crosby, Stills and Nash. And they're like, We can't. They went back to reshoot it, and they tore the house down the next
Yeah,
day.
the house was gone. The house was gone.
It's
But
like,
you know what? When you actually hear the harmonizing, and if you can look at the bands of that era, either the Beach Boys, God only knows, forget Freddie Mercury with all of that beautiful stuff, and Crosby, Stills, and Nash, to find harmony that is that beautiful, in tune and blending, it's like the Bee Gees.
Mark,
You
really
just can't.
quick, let me have you give a little bit of background on both Mark and Gary. Gary's background as well, being a songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee, and
Gary Bird, Nashville. He's in the Songwriting Hall of Fame in Nashville. He's written so many hits for all of the country artists, and he's like a staple down there, but also a great singer and a performer in his own right. Mark Morando, out of Connecticut, I brought him in to sing on the Harry Nilsson record, on a Ringo Starr record, because he's a great singer, a great musician. And I thought, you know what? Why do we have to put up with a drummer? Because I was a drummer, and we're renowned for being pains in the ass. Like, what has 3 legs and a prick? A drum stool. So I couldn't resist. So thank you. If you look at that, we wanted to do something where we didn't have to worry about a band and the complaint. It's 3 guys with acoustic guitars and a pretend keyboard that plays organ and regular thing. And it's so simple. We could play anywhere, and our harmonies are so good, and we like each other. So that's really, really good, and it's really, really fun. It's not necessarily great money. It's not a career move. But you know what? We're doing what we do, and we're doing what we love. And I love Doylestown. I've been there a number of times with Bobby and Tony, and I actually tried to buy a house.
How many people say I slept with Mark Hudson that night? I'm like going to be like,
you'll be sought after that, and all of them. You know, Earl Slick. There's so many guys that I've worked with, and all of their talent is different from each other, but it's all really important. You have to just let musicians be what they are, and then get on with it. Like I say, write a good song, and anybody can play it. Anybody. So just write the good song. Do that first. That's what's important.
So there we are. Next Wednesday night, free concert, 7 p.m. Doylestown. I'll put the link. We'll have it up. It'll be blasted everywhere. Look, it's free. It's all ages. Bring your chair. And the neat thing is there's probably food trucks and vendors and everything. It's just a great night of just hearing music. It's sponsored by Thompson Automobile here in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They do a Wednesday night concert series, but Mark's going to be there.
I hope it doesn't rain. Let's hope it doesn't rain.
Nah.
I don't care. The rain's not going to stop me.
We're going to have a blast. It's a great venue, so come out and look, and then we're done by 9 o'clock. You can watch, we're back right here doing the Metal Summit. So
yeah,
go for it.
Absolutely.
And who knows who may come on because they're staying here.
We'd love to definitely make something like that happen.
Oh.
So, Mark, one thing that I wanted to kind of jump back into our TMS, time machine and go back a couple of years to, I actually want to go back to a little bit of the Hudson brothers with Bill and Brett.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to talk a little bit about being on Sonny and Cher and how that kind of led to like the Razzle Dazzle Hour.
You know what the weird thing about it was? It's and I can speak freely and honestly. The television career we loved, and everyone thought it was overnight, but we had been working 10 years to get to that point. And as soon as we did the television show, it happened to be in an era where the Monkees were busted because they were actors. The Partridge Family were just actors and not real musicians. So we got thrown into, those funny brothers who are the funny brothers. And we were going, wait a minute, we write real songs. We're a band and we kick ass. And they, straightened our hair, capped our teeth. They did all that. And it was beautiful and really fun, but it really took its toll on our music career. Like I've done so many articles that said that you guys were a power pop band that was incredible because we played our own stuff, we harmonized, we did all of that, but the TV thing kind of threw a curve to it. Now, the good news is that it was immediate fame, immediate money. You were recognized everywhere that you went, and all of that was great. But I was suffering because I was a songwriter, and I was the lead singer in the band, and it killed me. And although I loved it and it was great, I became great friends with Cher. My brother Brett dated her sister for 8 years, and we still are great friends and all of that. But it got in the way of the music. That's a difficult thing to say, but it's the truth. It got in the way. And until I became a songwriter on my own and became successful, that was sort of my slap back to the world. Like, I try to tell you, I was a songwriter all along, not just the funny guy in the middle with a mustache that looked like Ron Jeremy. So thank you for knowing that. You know, so many references I make, nobody understands anymore.
No, Angel does interviews with porn stars, so
yes, I do.
Angel, I knew I
love
loved
big
you.
titties. Of course.
Okay, then you're all right in my book.
There you go.
And Ron Jeremy's a tripod. I'm sorry.
The only big titties he'll be sucking his big bubble.
Whoa. Why not? Wow. It's the midnight show.
Exactly, for sure. That's how this show can turn it, just like
Sure, yeah,
drop of a hat, like there.
One mention, one Ron Jeremy just sends you completely to hell.
One Ron Jeremy just sends us completely to Angel. Like,
He's right down there to Angel. He's got the stories.
I'll make it up. I'll buy somebody a concert ticket so I can be nice.
Good.
Sure.
Perfect.
Well, let's bring Psycho Steve back in here for the next segment, since we began this episode with him while he was finishing up work, but we got him now. Psycho
Look at him.
Steve.
He's got his white shirt on. He's all. He doesn't look like that.
It's actually pink, but it's cool. I think he's all like, oh, I know that's not colorblind, so it's cool. Anyway,
He looks like a lawyer.
it's pink.
Yeah, he looks more like a
You
lawyer
know
than
something?
Psycho Steve.
Psycho Steve.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not sure if you're aware of this, but my wife and I just went to see the Vincent van Gogh,
Oh yeah, the exhibit.
the exhibition.
Yeah, I
And
got
you don't
tickets
really
in
know.
August.
You don't even really realize if you had a straw hat, you would be Vincent van Gogh. Fuck yourself, because you actually look like Vincent van Gogh, but with the other ear.
But look, I have both ears.
That's what I mean. Band-aids that up. Make a poster. You'll sell them.
All
Hold on,
right.
I want to tell my wife to look at you.
Oh my God.
Is that not Vincent van Gogh?
Get the straw hat.
Yes. Get
All
that
right.
hat.
I've been called worst. I am divorced, so it's cool.
Oh well.
All right.
But it's a good look.
Speaking of Van Gogh, I have a Van Gogh joke. You want to hear it?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Okay. So, what did Mike Tyson say to Van Gogh?
What?
What, are you going to eat that? All right. All right. So.
That was.
Nice.
Thank you.
I got a better one. You know what the difference is between meat and fish?
What?
You can't beat your fish. Sorry.
Yes.
All right.
Shouldn't exist.
So
Don't bump.
now you've worked with so many people. Is there a person that you haven't and you really want to?
There's a few.
Okay.
Okay.
And who?
Gladys Knight is on my bucket list because there is not a singer that can touch her vocal. She is like the real deal. I want her bad. And Barry Gibb. Look, remember, I came from a brother act. So 3 brothers, and he lost his brothers, and now it's just him.
Yeah.
I just know that I wouldn't go to the disco, Bee Gees, but I would go back to Gotta Get a Message to You, that early stuff. To love somebody. I would love to write with him. I would love to produce him. I'd also like to get my hands on the Foo Fighters. I know they do their own stuff, but if he could let me in, I would kind of give them a bit more grandiosity as opposed to just it all being a rock band. And I know Dave and I know Rami, like they're all friends of mine.
Rami's great. Yeah.
Rami's fantastic. But it's just, there are so many people that I love that I would love to work with. I don't know, a lot of the new pop people I don't get. I don't understand necessarily what that is, but some of the bands, I don't know, I could have some fun with Tool. If they were around, they would be a good thing to jump on. Because
I have a good time with Tool, and I love jumping on tools.
Yeah, I know that, but tell that to your anus. Did I say something wrong?
No, not at all.
Not on this show.
No, it's a weird thing when you have your bucket list. I mean, you want to say, I have a Christmas album that I want to do with Mick Jagger because I have these songs that go back to Howlin' Wolf and John Lee Hooker that they did that I want to have Mick Jagger do a Christmas record. And even though he's like old and he looks like Don Knotts now, but he still is like the
He's
shit.
still Mick Jagger.
Yeah, he's Mick Jagger.
All right.
Still dancing his ass off, singing his ass off. It's, I mean, Rod Stewart would be great if he didn't do the songbook. If he could go back to Stay With Me, Hot Legs, and that stuff, who wouldn't want to have that voice?
Yeah.
Could be fun. I mean, you know what? Anybody that comes in, if I hear them sing, something about them is going to make me want to do more with them. That's the curse and the disease of the music. It runs in and out of me all the time. My bucket list, I'll probably think of 5 more within the next 8 minutes of, and what about, maybe.
And just to carry on that question and everything, did you ever get a chance to, I know Elvis never wrote any of his own music, but did you ever get to meet Elvis?
I did. And it was a complete accident. My brothers and I had just gotten to California, and we were in a station wagon, and we were on Sunset Boulevard. And Dean Martin actually had a restaurant called Dino's that was right on Sunset. And there was a song that Elvis did. I was a huge Elvis fan. A song that he did in Blue Hawaii called Slicing Sand. Take off your shoes, pull down your hair. We're going to party and we'll get somewhere. Dance, dance, dance till your toes get tan. Gonna have some fun and slicing sand. And they all kick sand. Pull up to a red light. A Rolls Royce pulls up next to us. We look over, and in the back seat is Elvis Presley. Wow. Looking like just what you wanted him to look like. It's Elvis, and we all rolled down the windows, and all of a sudden the electric window goes down, and there was the king with the glasses and the hair, and he looks over at us and goes, hey, fella, what are you up to these days? And my brother Brett, like an idiot, said, we're slicing sand. And Elvis looked at him like, what the fuck? And the window went back up, and he drove away. So I beat the shit out of my brother for saying, you get a chance to meet Elvis and you say we're slicing sand? He didn't say Jailhouse Rock. Don't be cruel. None of that. He said we're slicing sand.
Wow.
The Elvis story. Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
And I got slapped by Frank Sinatra once. And it wasn't a love slap, like he really slapped me.
Right.
I was working with Phil Ramone, who was my teacher. And we were about to do the Frank Sinatra duets album.
Love it.
And so we were in a studio in upstate California at George Lucas's studio doing a band called Bloodline, which was Joe Bonamassa and Robbie Krieger's kid from The Doors and one of the Allman Brothers. It was like sperm cells of the rich and famous, all of the children of these rock gods. And Phil was producing them, and I was under Phil's wing. Knowing that Sinatra is going to do this record, everybody was calling. The phone would ring, it'd be Streisand, it'd be Madonna, it'd be Bono. Like they all wanted to be on this record. So Phil Ramone says, Frank's people are showing up for a meeting, so be on your best behavior. These 3 guys show up in silk suits with their hairs back, and all of their names were Mario, and they looked like killers. And they walk in, and they're talking. So me, being the overexcited person that I am, I start doing my Marky humor. And they found out that I'm Italian, and they liked that. And I started doing jokes, and they were laughing at everything I was doing. So then comes the curse of me. I get cocky, and I think, wow, these guys are loving everything that I'm doing. And that was my big mistake. And so I made the mistake, and they were talking about people doing the album. And Phil Ramone goes, yeah, it's going to be great. Everyone's calling, everyone's. And then here comes the mistake. I went, it's kind of funny because I'm hearing that, Frank is getting up there in years now and that he's starting to forget words. And the room kind of got quiet and they all kind of looked at me, but I was too far into my own shit to stop. So I said, wouldn't it be great if he goes, it's up to you, new, like he forgot the words to New York. And the room, it was like digital silence. You couldn't hear anything. Phil Ramone goes, I need to see you outside. Grabs me, shoves me up against the wall, goes, are you out of your fucking mind? Those are Frank's. You get in there now and you apologize. And da-da-da. So I went in like a dog that just shit on the floor. And I went, I'm really, really sorry. You guys were liking everything I was doing. And I really apologize. I didn't mean it. You know how much I love Frank. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Cut to 5 months later, they're making the record. They're at Capitol Records, 47-piece band. I think Pat McDonald was conducting. Phil Ramone says, come down to the session. And I walk into the session, and there's Phil Ramone. And I think Elliot Shiner was the engineer. And the three Marios, the Killers. And Phil Ramone goes, Frank wants to meet you. And I'm going, what? Really? He goes, yeah. So one of the guys takes me out, and there he was, Frank Sinatra, sitting on a stool with a cigarette and a scotch, lyrics in front of him, and it was Frank Sinatra. And there he was, and he looks at me and calls me over with the Italian, come over here. And I walk over, and he gets close to me. He goes, so what makes you such a smart ass? And when he said that, I thought of the immediate retort and went, because I'm Italian. And he laughed, and then he slapped me. But it wasn't like a confirmation. I mean, it was like slap me. Jeez. Now get the fuck out of here. Whoa. And then I figured that I just got slapped by an icon. So the first thing, as I walked out, I called my mom. I went, Mom, you got this. What's the matter, honey? Is everything okay? No, Mom, I just got slapped by Frank Sinatra. Honey, are you still on your medication? No, Mom, you don't understand. And what it was they set me up. They knew the guys told him that. And Frank Sinatra had a great sense of humor. And he called me in just to do that so I could get the shit kicked out of me. But being slapped by the chairman of the board, it made it in my diary forever. Iconic.
I would take a slap from Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why
not?
I'm taking plenty of Gene Simmons.
Yeah, we get in. I really got to have Mark tell this one. So when you and your brothers did it, look, you had a crush, and I'm going to go back to it, Joni.
I can't.
You got to do the Joni.
Bobby, I can't do Joni without the piano because it won't make sense. It won't make sense.
Next time, Bobby.
It's Gay Pride. You can do the.
Okay. I mean, it's not going to be as good.
I know. It'll be good, though.
No. Well, you know what? I think we should save it. Wait, let me ask Melissa. Should I save it?
Save it.
Save it without the piano? All right.
I think next time, if I know I'm doing the show.
Mark back.
Melissa says all. Like that's.
You need the piano. You need the piano.
Right.
You won't regret waiting. It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
Let's just wait. It's a better thing.
We'll definitely make that a thing. So, Bobby, we're actually.
That means we confirm Mark will be a future guest.
Absolutely.
I will.
100% will make that a thing.
Back to you, Jay.
But yeah, thanks, brother. No worries. Let's kick it down to Angel because he's been waiting patiently with a couple of guest questions that we definitely want to make sure that we get in. Just so that the fans know, it is last call for alcohol, guys. I will circle around again to make sure that we got all the fan questions. But it is last call for alcohol. So, Angel, what do we got right now?
Yes, we have two really good fan questions. Just getting up to it because I lost track of it. My apologies.
That's okay, Angel. Make it up. Make it a Ron Jeremy question. Whatever you want.
Sure. Wow.
Sorry, brother.
No, I was gonna ask, what song should Ron Jeremy not be singing in the shower?
Wow. Let me think. Come Together? Maybe not.
Take on Me.
There you go.
She came in through the bathroom window.
That's good.
We don't have to take our clothes off.
Wow.
Love me with your top down. Kicking
Boner-
Valentina turns me on.
Beat it.
Boner Hemium Rhapsody.
Exactly.
That's a fucking song.
It is now.
For Ron, it is.
Love in an elevator.
That's good. What, Angel, are you asking me a question, or did you have a petite stroke? Did you just have a stroke?
No. Almost. Okay, here's the question. Sorry.
Today, Junior.
Okay, here it is. This is from Ken. Lots of bands in the past have ended up in bad business deals. What advice can you give to upcoming bands to help avoid those?
Okay, that's actually a great question. You know what the thing is? As soon as we become successful, we think that we will be successful forever. And what you got to know, no matter what band you're in, no matter what solo artist you are, at one point, you're not. You can always go with the Beatles, you can, whatever. But for most part, it is going to end. And so the key to it is you get a record deal. It's like there was a band called Veruca Salt, and they got signed to Geffen, like a $2 million deal. And there was such a bidding war on them that they got the deal, got all the money. The record sold 3 copies, and they squandered the money like they had, or even, Can't Touch Us. Da, 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 da. What was that kid's name? MC Hammer.
MC Hammer, yeah.
You think it's never going to be finished, so you get an entourage. Yes, I've got 19 friends, and I got someone rubbing my neck and someone dousing the lights when I'm in the room, and they all do this. But all of that ends up costing money. And at one point, when it turns around and you're not as popular as your A game, you're at your B game and your C game, that goes away. And therefore, all of the investments that you make, buy a house. Forget what the car is. You know what? That's meaningless. As soon as you get it off the lot, it goes down half of the value. Buy a house. Real estate never goes bad. Buy a house, own it outright, and then, God willing, no matter what happens, if you have to sell it and as things appreciate, you'll make a couple millions on the $1 million home that you bought. Will cost $5 million by the time your career is over. So if you have to downsize, you got something to back up on. Take care of your family and be careful of your friends, because people will love you for the wrong reason. Right. And you got to, I've seen Steven Tyler in his underwear, and I know him so well that we're best friends because of that. But that's the important thing, not the fact that he's Steven Tyler. I know him as Steven Tallarico, a Mama Luke Italian from Yonkers. And find those people that loved you before you were famous. And those are the ones that are still going to always be around. But buy a house, save your money, try to stay within the band. Don't let the egos, and I can say this in front of my wife and not be horrible. Don't listen to your girlfriend or your wife, because they're usually the ones that take it down. I
That's
think
why I'm single.
Really good.
You're right.
The record's really good, but there should be more tambourine. What? I'm the tambourine player. Yes, but don't you get a tambourine solo? And as soon as that infiltrates, the next thing you know, I need to sing a song. No, you don't. He's the singer. And I'll throw you one. I mean, obviously with the Beatles, you had Lennon and McCartney, And George Harrison was the third guy out. But stay on the path. Stay in your lane. Don't make a mistake, because I'm telling you, as famous and as great as you think you are, I have not known anybody that hasn't changed. Paul McCartney's albums aren't selling like they were when he was a Beatle. The Stones, you can name them all. Madonna, it changes. And that doesn't have anything to do with their talent. I'm sure they're just as talented, if not more, but society changes. The audience changes. And that's the thing that makes a difference. Hold on to your family. Hold on to your friends. Buy a house, because it never will go down in value. And then just don't waste your money on stupid stuff. Maybe now and then a massage parlor or a hooker. Okay, good. It's $100. Yeah, I knew that you'd like that, Angel. I did that for you. But
thank you.
Yes, but for most part, just, Shakespeare is kind of like on Joey Mullen's album, Be True to Yourself. I titled that based on Shakespeare. To thine own self be true. Be who you really are. And if you're heavy metal, you fucking be heavy metal. If you're pop, be pop. There's room for everybody. Just don't become something because everyone thinks you should become something. Be who you are. This is what I am every day. My pajamas are this fucked up. So you got to be true to it. Stay the course. Save your money. Your career is going to change. I don't care how good you think you are. At one point, it's going to change. And even then, Bruno Mars will still be short.
Yeah.
He could have $27 million. He's still going to be 5'2".
Facts.
He's beautiful.
I think my wife. I love him. Like he's kind of on my bucket list. I'd like to work with him in a heartbeat, because he's got old Philadelphia soul in him. So just be true to who you really are. If you do that, you're going to be successful.
It was like Prince. The guy was fantastic, but 4 feet tall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. He looked like a pendant.
Yeah.
Sexy motherfucker, though.
Yeah, see, wait, my wife needs to say something.
Oh, yeah.
He was a sexy motherfucker, though.
See, women still fucking loved him. Women still wanted to fuck him and everything, even with all of that.
I know. Hey, you know what? Look, talent is a weird thing. If you look at a band like The Doors, Jim Morrison was this beautiful specimen. Then you can get a band like Foreigner that had all of those hits. Feels like the first time.
Yeah.
Cold as ice. They're fucking great. But the lead singer looked like a Picasso. And he didn't have the other thing. He didn't have the Steven Tyler. He just did great voice, great songs, great band. But the one thing that held it back was that other thing. Freddie Mercury, he had it all.
Yeah.
And you can make fun of his teeth. He looked like a can opener, whatever you want to say. But you know what? When he was on stage, you could not fuck with him.
Nope.
He was just the greatest, and he was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. My mom gave me my first Queen album when I was very small, and I've loved them ever since.
Isn't that great?
Oh, man, I will ride or die with Queen.
Me too. I'm such a fan. I based my background singing on Freddie Mercury's harmonies.
Oh, yeah.
He was the real deal, man.
Oh, absolutely. And some props to Adam Lambert, because I think what he's doing with Brian and Roger to keep everything going, I really think it's fantastic.
I do too. And you know what? Once again, if you think about it, it's about the songs.
Yeah.
Adam Lambert, I love. He works with my daughter sometimes. But you know what? The songs that he's singing, you can't go wrong.
No.
Songs first.
100%, absolutely.
And there's the mantra.
Yep.
Songs first. Done.
Angel, let me kick it back to you, brother. Were there any more questions?
Yes. Kim Sullivan wants to know, what are Mark's thoughts behind the disconnect with the X Factor audience in 2007 and his decision not to be a vocal coach the following season?
Yeah, you know what? It was like there seemed to be a problem with that show. Is it stopped being about the music and the singers, and it started become. Look, and as soon as like the internet and all that stuff happened, it became this other thing that wasn't about I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I want to do this. If you think about it with like The Voice, the people that are winning are the judges. Yeah. I haven't heard of any of the artists that are on there. I haven't heard of them again. And that's what started to happen. And the part of me, there was a kid on the show named Chico, and he was this Arab boy that could dance and sing. And he would always go, "What time is it? It's Chico time." And I wrote a song called Chico Time, gave it to him, and it became a #1 song in Great Britain. But you see, that had nothing to do with the television show. That had to do with the television show helped it get there, but it was a great song. He executed it perfectly, and that's how it worked out. So I just don't, I'm not saying I'm not a fan of that. Katy Perry's on it now, is my daughter's friend, and God bless all of them. I just think that it's gotten away from the art and gotten more about the YouTube hits and the Instagram thing, and it's not about a guy with his guitar singing his ass off or a girl with a soulful voice that's blowing you away. It's become something else. I can cry, I can be mean, I have bodacious tatas. All of that stuff became the important stuff, and it started moving away from all of the stuff that really counted, which should be the music and the singer. So I mean, there's so many of those shows now. I can't even keep up with all of them. It's just not in my world anymore.
Well, I think it's really cool, Mark, to actually hear you say it like that, because that was actually a criticism, and a very similar criticism that I had been giving for years on American Idol, because I would casually pay attention, but it was usually because I would hear about some person that would strike my style, that would then kind of make me pay attention. I've never really watched them, but when I heard about this Chris Daughtry guy, I paid attention. When I heard about Adam Lambert, I was like, okay, kind of this glam rock.
There's another one.
I was like, well, I can get into that. When I heard about James Durbin, this heavy metal guy who was singing on the show. But my big criticism, when one of the reasons I really did turn off the show, was when I started watching these like 2-hour season premieres where they would have the singers that could sing, but then would follow it up with a bigger chunk of like the people that can't sing. I felt like where it should have been, like, look, I don't mind a little comic relief in those shows where, somebody auditions for American Idol that really shouldn't have gone and auditioned. Where if you're like, hey, this person came on and blew the judges away. This person came out, was completely soulful. This person kind of looked like a total like bum that walked off the street, but oh my God, could they wail? But then all of a sudden there was this guy, and then the person couldn't sing. I'm cool with that. I don't really mind that. But when they started flipping it to where it seemed more like focusing like 30% on like people who could sing and 70% on people that were just train wrecks.
And that's the problem. And if you think about the people that didn't win, if you look at Adam Lambert, great fucking singer. If you look at Jennifer Hudson, these were the losers on that show. And so
Mark, the person who lives right behind me is Justin Guarini.
Yeah.
Who was on with Kelly Clarkson.
Came in second to Kelly.
And what's his name? Justin Big Weenie? What is it?
Guarini. It was Justin and Kelly. They did it,
No, but that's what I mean. You see, and I think, I wonder what it would be like if I tried to get a show off the ground with Eddie Kramer, the famous who did Zeppelin,
Hendrix,
and we tried to do a show together where we were going to get bands, and we were going to actually, between the two of us, we would compete against each other and have the bands come out and do an original song. So at the end of the show, you actually saw this thing grow. And it wouldn't be, oh, this is a fat guy. Oh, this is a guy on heroin. Oh, this is a girl that can't sing. It wouldn't be about that. it would be like a real audition, a real song, and the drama. If you want drama, watch the other stuff. Let's make this be about the music and the singers and the songwriters, and that's look at. There's enough room. Just all I got to say is this: The Bachelor. What the hell is that? What guy do you know that could date 17 women and think he's fallen in love with all of them? How does that even compute? They should do a disclaimer like, this show is completely bullshit. Go have some fun. And then you can sit back and enjoy it for what it is. But if you think, how many people from that show are married and still in love? Hello? None?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, 100% for sure. Angel, is there anything more from the fans or a question from yourself, man, before we do this final go around and put a bow on it?
Let's put a bow on this one.
No, we can definitely do the final go around.
Cool, no problem. Psycho Steve, let's kick it down to you, man, to kick us off.
Okay, last question is, we talked about all the bands that you recorded with. I want to know, what can we expect in the near future for you? As far as, and besides this show you're doing, are you going to go back on the road like with Ringo Starr and the All-Star Band?
No, I'm not doing that. You know, it's like I don't really know from the pandemic what the near future is going to be. It's still really a blindfold for it. You know, I'm doing the Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young thing that I'm doing with my buddies, and that's more or less just because we love playing, we love hanging out, we love doing that. It's not really a huge money gig or a career move. I'm always looking for the next thing. And that's why I say I'm always very, very open to hearing new stuff. Because if I hear something that makes me go, whoa, I'm running after it. So anybody out there that has that stuff, send it out.
Can they contact you through your website?
I don't have a website.
Ah, okay. Any social media, like if we sent you a message through Facebook, Instagram, anything like that?
Instagram. Marco, Marko, Hudson. Marco Hudson. Send it through there, and I'm listening and waiting because I would love to find the next thing. I would love to find the new John Lennon, the new Rolling Stones, those guys that have that, the new Zeppelin. And what's the, and I don't want to rag on anybody, but what's the band that's kind of like Zeppelin? What?
Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, I mean, God bless him. And Jason Flom, who is my friend, is the guy that found them. But I'm trying to understand it. And even though they look like they should live under a mushroom, they kind of have a Lord of the Rings thing going on. I'm trying to find that power, but songs that will virtually be Kashmir, virtually be Stairway to Heaven, so that the songs have that power of all of that. There's got to be somebody. There's got to be. Where's the new Joni Mitchell? Where's that? Give me that stuff. It was funny because I did a podcast with Daryl from Run DMC, and he's a huge Ringo fan. And he goes, yeah. And he goes, do you think we can do something? I said, let me find out. And maybe we'll pull a Ringo drum beat, and you can write some shit to it, and I'll put some stuff to it. And it was interesting. I got to write a song at this writing camp, and I didn't know. I'm sorry, baby. What was the guy's name? Turn it up. Usher.
Usher.
Yeah, I didn't know. And then the guy that did all the tracks for 50 Cent. And it was interesting because I was expecting like some sort of gang member guy, and he was this Jewish guy that when he was talking, he would go, do you think maybe we could nosh? Maybe get something to eat before we start the work? Then his phone would ring, like, yeah, word up. Yeah, cap your ass. And he became like a gang member. And he'd hang up the phone and go, maybe we should actually think about a song that we can be doing. Yeah, what the fuck? What's going on? And I'm going, oh my God. So when I got frustrated, I called him Dr. Dreidel. And he got mad at me. He got mad at me. And I wonder why, yeah. But I couldn't resist. And the key to it is, if I do this thing with Daryl from Run DMC and get a ring, and who knows what he's going to come up with, but I know I'll be able to do the music that's going to be heavy-handed to it. That it won't. I don't want to do something that just sounds like a rap track. I want to do something that keeps the heavy rock and have it be that other thing. So I'm constantly looking. So what am I looking for? Anything that you guys throw at me.
Nice. That's really awesome for sure, man. So yeah, definitely send your music Mark's way, man.
Come on, I want to hear it.
Tell them the Metal Summit sent you.
Yep, and you know what? And the difference is, I'm too old to lie. So I'm going to tell the truth. And if I think it needs work, and if I think that it's something, I'm going to say what I really think. And you know what? It's just one guy with one guy's opinion.
For sure.
I could say something and go,
you're going to make somebody cry.
And they could be huge. But you know what? All you got to do is believe in it. It's like Peter Pan when he puts his hand out. Come on, let's fly. If you hold onto the hand and you jump out the window, you're going to fucking fly. If you don't believe, you're going to fall like a rock.
Absolutely.
And that's not acceptable to me.
No.
I'm a flying motherfucker.
Absolutely.
And you're a good host, buddy. You got a future.
What?
More tattoos. You know, I was actually.
Thank you, man.
I was thinking of when I was married before. My wife's name was Wendy, and I had a tattoo on my penis with her name. And I was in a bathroom, going to the bathroom, and this huge black guy walked in. He starts going to the bathroom, and he looks down, and he sees my tattoo. And I look down, and I see his tattoo, and I go, "Hey, that's just like mine." He goes, "No, Monk. Mine says, 'Welcome to Jamaica. Have a nice day.'" So, I close with that.
No, I love it. Fantastic.
I love you guys. Thank you. All of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you
Hey,
so
Marky,
much, Mark.
Yo.
Before we roll, is there anything you need next week? A loofah, feather pillows,
Coffee. Make sure there's coffee.
Oh, there's tons.
Okay. Some kind of cream, not like, non-fat, so it's like white
Tony
tea.
always keeps asking the same thing. I need a lot of cream.
I love it.
Wow. That's oversharing.
Hey, Mark, before we cut you loose, I got one more quick thing to ask you. Just being that we're all big Kiss guys, and you talked about the song earlier in the interview, "So You're a Star," from Casablanca Records, and us as Kiss people, Casablanca put out like their early stuff. What do you remember from that record label?
Well, I mean, we were all together. It was Kiss, Hudson Brothers, Parliament, and then Donna Summer. We were all there together. And I've known Gene and Paul like 40-something years. We go back.
We
and the
did
thing is,
2 shows together. We did L.A. and New York.
Yeah. And then in the same time, when we did "So You Are a Star," Paul Stanley loved the song so much, he actually called me. It must have been 9 months ago, maybe a year. And he goes, "Marky, I love that song. I want to cut it." And I went, "Are you kidding? Kiss?" He went, "No, not Kiss. Paul Stanley." So I sent him the files to my song, "So You Are a Star," with Ringo playing drums, that hopefully one day he'll get to. But they were great guys. They were fun. They were hungry. Gene was on a mission. You don't mess with Gene Simmons. He knows exactly what he wants. And Paul is the complete Beatle freak. At his 50th birthday, he had a Beatle band that we were all there doing Beatle songs all night.
Nice.
And that's like, they were great. And they knew what they wanted. And, and really at that point they looked a bit scary. So thanks God for the makeup. It was like they could sneak up on a glass of water, but it was sort of like the makeup became their thing. The music became more of their thing. And now they are rock icons for the rest of the universe. And that'll never go away. And it shouldn't. I love them.
Awesome, man. 100%. Well, Mark, thank you so much for spending some of your evening with us, man. Our big thing is that you had a great time. You felt respected. You liked your questions, and that you thought your time was worth it.
I loved it. I love the fans. I love all of you guys. I love Ron Jeremy. They're all perfect. It's good.
So we're going to hold it to you, Mark. The next time when you're here, you're going to come here and do the show because I have a couple pianos here, so we can do Joni.
Okay, it's a promise. You got it.
Well, fans,
All right, guys.
hit up Doylestown in next week, next Wednesday, the 23rd, so you can see
23rd.
Mark live with Bobby there as well. Guest announcement for next week's episode, guys, will be on Friday, and we will be coming to you live on Wednesday, the 23rd as well for the next episode of the Metal Summit. Hit up all of Mark's socials. Hit up our socials. Make sure you follow us on Facebook since that's where we go live. Smash that subscribe button when it comes to the YouTube channel. And definitely make sure that you're following us on Twitter and Instagram, guys. Again, the next announcement will be on Friday, guys. We will see you guys next week for the Metal Summit. For Killer Queen Bobby Dreyer, for Angel Alamo, for Psycho Steve, I'm Jay. We always take a second to thank Jason Perlzweig, our executive producer, for taking good care of us and getting us live as always. Thank you so much, brother. And again, thank you, Mark Hudson. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jay.
Enjoy your
Bless
night,
you guys.
guys. Enjoy your night. As always, we love you. You've been watching the Metal Summit.
Peace and love.